The Munster semi-final. Our referee this afternoon is James Owens from Wexford, a man who was in the middle for last year's National Hurling League final between Galway and Cork. Our match analyst is Nicky English. Big game for both teams, Nicky.
Yeah, Sean, it's a big game. Tipperary are red-hot favourites, and you know, Declan Ryan will be hoping they won't be too complacent. Clare will be hoping that there is a bit of complacency in the Tipperary side and hopefully get a couple of early goals. There's some very good forwards, Darragh Honan and John Conlon, and test what Tipperary are made of.
Well, the game is on. It's Clare then that are playing from left to right in this Munster semi-final. Live coverage here on TV3 from the Gaelic grounds in Limerick. Clare with the first attack of the day. The U-man Cathal McInerney leaves that to Fergal Lynch. Serious hit by Pádraig Maher, much to the dislike of the Clare contingent here in the stands. Jonathan Clancy, poor ball picked out by Michael Cahill. Cornerback for Tipperary, early ball in towards Noel McGrath. McGrath has started in the 13th position. We'll follow the changes in a second. Nicky O'Connell tidying up in midfield for Clare. Lovely low ball up to the impressive Conor McGrath, immediately getting away from John O'Keefe for O'Graha's in a goal shot. Oh, what a goal! Conor McGrath, the man who's making his debut this afternoon, has written his name all over this Munster semi-final. What a goal!
Yeah, that's exactly the start Clare, and the match will want. Gerald Loughlin will be delighted. Conor McGrath just comes out, never puts the hurley to the ball, just picks it up clean and rounds John O'Keefe, and fantastic goal, gives Brendan Cummins no chance.
The man who played so well last year in the Munster Under-21 final against Tipperary. What a start for Conor McGrath, and exactly what Clare needed. Meanwhile, Tipper on the attack, picked up though by Patrick Donlan. Experienced campaigner in that half-back line. He's forced out over the line. That'll be a line ball the far side of the field for Tipperary.
Very good start, and you know, Tipperary now just look to be a little bit sluggish starting off, and you know, they need to settle down. And Noel McGrath, who's moved in corner forward for the first couple of balls, he's capable of putting this one over the bar.
So Noel McGrath then scored 4 points, including 2 sideline cuts against Cork. This one, it's on its way, but it goes at the last second, tails to the right and wide. First wide then of the Munster semi-final.
Yeah, sometimes in the line ball, when it goes over, it's fantastic. When it doesn't go across the ball, it's a waste. But here's the goal again from Conor McGrath. Just a fantastic finish up high into the corner of the net. Really lively and great skill.
Great turn of pace, Conor McGrath. Puck out then from Philip Brennan, returning in goal for Clare this afternoon. Pádraig Maher brought it down initially. Tidied up by Conor O'Mahony. Strong, heavy hit on Conor O'Mahony as the ball sprays out over the sideline. And Diarmuid McMahon goes in to have a quick word, and there's a little bit of after as Pádraig Maher is going in there. John Conlon is also getting involved, and I think both teams are rekindling perhaps rivalries of yore, Nicky English.
Yeah, first of all, it was great work by Diarmuid McMahon. He came in and blocked Conor O'Mahony and hit him fairly on the ball initially, and he had to go back for a bit of afters, and from there it just got a little bit a bit ugly there for a while. But you know, Tipperary, I see Seamus Callan coming back to get involved, Noel McGrath to get involved, and that's not normal for those players. And there you can see Diarmuid McMahon coming in there and blocking the ball, and also getting Conor O'Mahony with it. So it's a strong challenge, but he actually blocked the ball and got man with it, so I wouldn't have any complaints, and I don't think anyone should have a complaint about it.
Diarmuid McMahon was the man that in the parlance would let Conor O'Mahony know that he was there. And also interesting that the 2 linesmen were both in with referee James Owens to have a quick consultation. Our linesmen this afternoon, Dermot Kerwin and Declan O'Sullivan.
And it's a Tipperary line ball, just to prove that McMahon actually did get a block on it.
Well, who says that the Munster Championship doesn't matter? I think already in the opening 3.5 minutes of this game, we can certainly put that one to bed. Both teams up for this game. Shane McGrath looking for a blade of grass here in the Gaelic grounds to place the sliotar, going behind the line, which of course is not allowed. Declan O'Driscoll, the linesman here from Limerick. Shane McGrath being asked to hurry it up. No, they're already in a game here. Good ball in towards the full forward line, taken down though by Patrick Donlan, who has moved into the number 6 position. Patrick O'Connor is also there. Donlan does well, picks it up. James McInerney is playing at 7 in positional switches from Clare. Cian Dillon is at full back as Diarmuid McMahon. Early ball into his full forward line, breaking inside to the danger man again. Conor McGrath getting away from John O'Keefe, held up though. Michael Cahill was the second man on duty to stop the Cratloe forward. Tries to play a diagonal ball though, that's well taken there by Shane McGrath. Blocked down though by Dermot McMahon. The point is on and the point is taken by Dermot McMahon. The two Clare scorers have come from players at different ends of their careers. The last one from the experienced Dermot McMahon, the first one from the skillful youngster McGrath.
Yeah, and Dermot McMahon has been putting himself about. See, he's working very hard, blocked down and straight over the bar. And Conor McGrath continues to look lively on John O'Keefe in the corner.
So puck out then, down towards Larry Corbett. Great catch by the hurler of the year. Corbett, first shot in anger in towards the edge of the square. John O'Brien tussling with Cian Dillon. Ball is still alive. Out comes the goalkeeper Philip Brennan and gets it up. Gets the hand pass away to James McInerney, who despite the 6 on his back is playing at left half back. Gets it into Patrick Donlan. Makes a little bit of space for himself and drives a huge clearance upfield. Ball breaks. Onto it is Fergal Lynch from Clooney Quinn. Lovely diagonal ball over towards Jonathan Clancy. Oh, vital touch by Michael Cahill. Conor McGrath though wins it for Clare. There are options left and right, but Conor McGrath is quite happy to bide his time, select his shot and fire it over the bar. Conor McGrath has hit 1 goal and 1 point in the opening 6 minutes of this Munster semi-final, and he looks a good one.
Yeah, well, James O'Connor did say before the game to watch out for this guy, and he's really playing superbly. He could have won a free there as well before, but he was well that the referee let him go and put a great point.
Interestingly, Michael Cahill is over on him as Patrick Bonner-Maher gets onto the break from the puck out. Patrick Bonner-Maher in towards goal. Lovely flick pass out to Seamus Callan, and the goal is on. Vital block by Donlan, and in comes Conor Cooney to get a touch on the ball out towards James McInerney. And Clare are quite happy to get the ball out of the danger zone. Fleeting goal chance there for the tip man, Dermot McMahon, playing at wing forward. Early ball in again. Breaks down, who's onto it? Paul Curran. Does well in at full back to secure possession. Conor O'Mahony lays it off to Pádraig Maher. Oh, excellent play out of defence by Clare, or by Tipperary I should say. Very sure of what they were doing there. David Young, long ball downfield. Owen Kelly beaten to it though, and out comes Conor Cooney. The O'Callaghan's Mill man in his 3rd championship game for Clare gets it upfield. Intercepted though by Pádraig Maher, back in that number 7 jersey for the tip man. Stalemate in midfield. Ball is still alive. Nicky O'Connell goes in to give a hand. Jonathan Clancy is also in there. Patrick Bonner-Maher trying to pick it up. Seamus Callan beaten to it. Patrick O'Connor tries to get a touch on it, but the man that comes away is Nicky O'Connell. Lively start to this game in the Gaelic grounds. Early ball inside, well dealt with though by John O'Keefe. Moved back to the number 2 jersey this afternoon, Shane McGrath. Early ball to his full forward line. Cian Dillon is over there shepherding the ball away from John O'Brien. Good play by the Crushing man, also in his 3rd championship appearance this afternoon for the Banner. Ball breaks in the half forward line. Who's onto it is Fergal Lynch. Lynch looks up, thinks about having a shot, has a pop at the post. It's high and it's got over the bar. Super score by Fergal Lynch, and the Clooney Quinn clubman drives it over the bar. 6 points for Clare, made up of a goal and 3 points. Tip yet to score, Nicky.
Yeah, it's a superb start by Clare, and they're thoroughly deserving of being 6 points in front. They're first to every ball, and they're blowing Tip out of it at the moment, and worrying signs for Tip.
8 minutes gone. We have yet to have a free. It's certainly lively fair. Patrick Donlan in his centre half back position, driving the ball upfield. The 25-year-old breaks down, tidied up at wing back by Pádraig Maher. Big questions being asked of the All-Ireland champions in the Munster semi-final. Seamus Callan, though, is a man that could provide some of the answers. On this instance, it goes wide. 2nd wide of the day for Tip, and Tip just need a score, Nicky.
Yeah, they certainly need a score to settle them down. That was very good work by Pádraig Maher, and great skill by Seamus Callan, and fine shot, but just wide, and they're a little bit unsettled, and Clare certainly have them on the back foot just now.
Philip Brennan. Tulla goes to the left-hand flank with that puck out. Well caught by Fergal Quinn. Or Fergal Lynch. Lynch trying to burrow his way through. Manages to get the offload back to Conor McGrath. He's under pressure, breaks to John Conlon. Gerard Ryan is in to nick the ball. Tidied up by Pádraig Maher. Play on to the referee, finding Noel McGrath, who's gone out to the half-forward line. In towards the full forward line. Conor Cooney, very close, and I think he did pick it off the ground in that instance, just when he was about to clear the ball upfield. But Nicky English, 9 minutes in, I didn't think we'd be saying this at 9 minutes into this Munster semi-final, but Tipperary need this chance to get their first score.
Yeah, and there was no need for Conor there to pick the ball off the ground. He was on top. He had the ball. He was over anxious to clear it. And himself and Cian Dillon have been very much on top of both Owen Kelly and John O'Brien. Larry Corbett has only caught one ball that came into him, but outside of that, Tip have been well held by the Clare defence just so far.
Well then, Tipperary's all-time championship top scorer with a whopping tally of 18 goals and 333 points stands over this free. The captain of Tipperary strikes it high, puts it straight over the bar, and the Premier County are out of the blocks. 10 minutes into the Munster semi-final, and Declan Ryan will certainly be the more worried of the two managers.
Absolutely, and after 10 minutes, that's Tip's first score, as you say, from a point, and they needed it.
Philip Brennan going again towards the centre forward channel, worked through by Lynch. Ball tidied up though by Paul Curran. It's the hand pass away to John O'Keefe, well blocked down by John Conlon. O'Keefe under pressure, being forced to work his way out of defence, but does well. Shane McGrath whipping defence into attack. John O'Brien gets a touch. Tidied up though by Patrick O'Connor, the debutant from the Tubber Club, one of 3 generations of that family that have now worn the Clare jersey. John Conlon, was he held? Referee says no, and that allows Shane McGrath again to send another missile into his full forward line. Owen Kelly holding it up there. Conor Cooney though did well, and now the tiding is done by Cian Dillon. Out towards James McInerney, playing in that wing back role, looking upfield, tried to pick a pass, trying to get it in towards Conlon. That's a great battle between Pádraig Maher and John Conlon. Conor O'Mahony, the Newport defender, tidying up, but loses it again to Fergal Lynch, who looks like a man on a mission. Gets it back to Nicky O'Connell. Half blocked, will work though for Conor McGrath. Clever little hand pass out to the debutant from Cracklow. That's Cathal McInerney. Cathal McInerney high and over the bar. The Cracklow men combining. Good score by Cathal McInerney and a good response. Clare looking very lively.
Yeah, they've built up a lot of momentum. Conor McGrath looks very sharp on the ball, and a good start now for Cathal McInerney with his first shot on goal. But Fergal Lynch and Dermot McMahon are winning a lot of ball around in the Clare forward line, and they're certainly well on top, and you know, full justice for their 6-point lead just now.
So some running repairs then for Fergal Lynch from Clooney Quinn, a man who played minor for Clare for 2 years. He scored 2 points in the National Hurling League final as Declan Ryan looks out. There's one thing that Declan Ryan and his management team won't panic, Nicky, but they know now that they're in a serious game.
Yeah, certainly Fergal Lynch, like the last day Conor O'Mahony came on against Cork and closed up the centre of defence, but it seems to be very open down the middle there today.
4 of the Clare forwards have already scored to back up that point. John Conlon trying to move that ball inside, but stopped by the aforementioned Conor O'Mahony. Tried to pick out the pass, but the man that was alert to it was Pat Vaughan, the captain from Crusheen. Huge ball looking for Dara Honan. Curran does enough to break it down to John O'Keefe. The ball is still alive. Lovely pick up by Conor McGrath. Flicks the ball outside to John Conlon. Conlon trying to make space, actually lost his hurl, but did ever so well to get control of the stick back again, but in so doing overran with the ball. Often you lose the ball, Nicky, but not often you lose the hurl.
Well, I think for the sheer effort in getting back to Hurley there, I'd let him off with it. It was as good a bit of skill as you'll see.
Meanwhile, ball back down at the other end. James McInerney getting a touch, breaks to John O'Brien. 1-4 to 1 point, Clare ahead. John O'Brien makes space for himself. Tries the angle shot, knocked down by Larry Corbett, but Philip Brennan was alert to it. And Philip Brennan clears his lines. Very close to the sideline. Jonathan Clancy, though, does well to catch and clear the ball upfield. Broken down by Conor O'Mahony. Pádraig Maher, who's hit a good bit of ball early doors. Out to the midfield sector where Nicky O'Connell, beaten to it by Seamus Callan. We've seen none of the silky touches yet from Callan in this game. Taking on the Clare defence, good run by Seamus Callan. A man who hit 5 points against Cork, strikes it high and strikes it over the bar. I said we hadn't seen any magic yet from Callan, but on cue he produces. The man from Drummond Inch, good score.
Yeah, great play. He seemed to be taking too much out of it and you know, getting himself into more trouble, but it was a great score. Initially a great catch in front of Nicky O'Connell. He's a class player, Seamus Callan.
He certainly is, and a man that wants to get himself back on the starting 15 of this Tipperary team this year. Came on as a sub in last year's All-Ireland final. Shane McGrath tidies up again in the midfield sector. Clare losing their own puck out. Out in front here though is Conor Cooney. Good play by Cooney, getting away from Owen Kelly, who is detailed to pick up. Long ball downfield again. Michael Cahill beaten to it by Conor McGrath. What a live wire this man is. McGrath with 3 Tipperary men for company. One of them is Shane McGrath, back helping out that defence. Goes back to Paul Kern, who finds Michael Cahill. The UCC student sends a long ball downfield again, looking for Owen Kelly. Conor Cooney, though, is in charge in that particular duel. Good ball, picks out Nicky O'Connell. In oceans of space out in the middle of the field. Nicky O'Connell, a huge effort. That's a superb score by Nicky O'Connell. The type of score that can inspire a side. The man from Clonlara comes up with the goods.
Yeah, superb. But what great work by Conor Cooney. He's been absolutely on top all the time against Owen Kelly, and great ball up to Nicky O'Connell, and then great point, but great play by Conor Cooney, who's he had the presence of mind after winning the ball to actually try and find Nicky O'Connell with it, and then from far out on the left hand side, a superb point.
8 shots at goal by the Clare batter. Sorry, I should say 6 shots at goal. All scores, no wide. Impressive stuff.
Yeah, it's and they've built up a 6-point lead, and they're at the situation now where another goal for Clare could make this very serious for Tipperary. And with Conor McGrath playing so well and Dara Honan down there, there is danger there all the time.
So Brendan Cummins, he had kept 4 clean sheets in his 12 games thus far against Clare, but he's already been beaten in this one. Pádraig Maher does well in the centre half back position for Clare. Huge ball downfield. The goalkeeper is coming out. Philip Brennan. John O'Brien manages to break it. Owen Kelly's at hand. Goal by Owen Kelly. But when we look back at this one, was it perhaps the goalkeeper that made the wrong decision in coming out? Owen Kelly gets his 19th championship goal for Tipperary, and it was needed, Nicky.
Yeah, it was a good finish by Owen Kelly, but as I say, Philip Brennan came out. I mean, I think as a goalie, if you're going to come out, you have to take everything with you, and he might have been better off to bat it if he was going to come out. He shouldn't have come out in my view, but that's a bad turn.
John Conlon, meanwhile, replies at the other end. Good response. John Conlon gets his first point of the day. I was going to ask you, Nicky, is that the break that Tipperary needed? But Clare have answered. Yeah,
and Conlon, first point of the day, and a very good response. And before that, Conor Cooney had been completely ahead of Owen Kelly, and Tip not winning enough of ball.
Puck out down on top of the Clare half back line. James McInerney eventually broke it out. Pat Vaughan trying to work the ball out, but the strong physical challenges from Tipperary are going in to win the ball back. Garrod Ryan getting onto it. Garrod Ryan high, and Garrod Ryan over the bar. The man who has been recited in what many feel is his more natural midfield position puts it over the bar on his 10th championship appearance. Good score.
Yeah, Garrod Ryan is very, very reliable when he gets onto his left-hand side to hit the ball over the bar, and good score. He's a very natural midfielder in my view.
17 minutes in, and suddenly we're back to a 3-point ball game. David Young takes down the Clare puck out. Conor McGrath puts on the pressure, but in goes Shane McGrath, the Tipperary midfielder. Tidied up by Pat Vaughan. Positions meaning little. Pat Vaughan, number 2 on his back, but now up in the half-forward line nearly for Clare. Ball breaks to Dara Conan. Dara Conan flashes it high and over the bar. Described during the week as a thoroughbred. Lovely score by Dara Conan, his first of the game. And the 6'6" man comes up with a good point.
Yeah, Dara Honan is a very, very skillful player, and if he gets chances, he'll score them. And Clare are getting a great return from the chances they're creating, and they're winning enough ball to actually keep creating chances.
Pat Vaughan comes again. Every one of the 6 Clare forwards have now scored as the ball breaks inside. Cathal McInerney trying to get away from John O'Keefe, but the corner back did enough. The Clonulty Rossmore man, he's beaten again though by the game, Cathal McInerney, but eventually sheer weight of numbers cleared that ball for Tip by Pádraig Maher. Taken by Lar Corbett. Garrod Ryan's touch just wasn't sure. Breaks back again though to Corbett, who's come out the field looking for ball. Breaks to Patrick Bonner Maher. Now things are opening up. Bonner is inside. The goal is on. Shot and goal by Patrick Bonner Maher. Gets the goal for Tipperary. And the man that usually is the provider comes up with a huge goal. The first of his senior championship career. Vital score.
Yeah, it was a very simple goal in the end. The ball broke through Pat Vaughan, and Bonner Maher got clean in, and Tipperary without a whole lot of play, are right back in it, 1 point behind.
Pat Vaughan being spoken to by the referee James Owens. I think the referee spotted a slap by the Clare captain. That's a yellow card, and Nicky English Tip score goals in their last 4 championship games. They've hit 13 already today. Even in the midst of a crisis, they've hit 2.
Yeah, and they were badly needed from a Tip perspective, and I suppose the opposite is also the case. Clare have shipped a lot of goals in Division 1, and you know, if you're the 2 goals have been soft really that they have conceded today.
Well, that's the big question. How would Clare manage the step up from Division 2 hurling? Pat Vaughan, fresh from his yellow card, has a pot at the post, but it ends to the right, side and wide, and that's the first wide for Clare this afternoon.
Yeah, and that would have been a good response to the second goal, and you know, it's Pat Vaughan. It fell to the cornerback, so unfortunately just right and wide.
So 1 point between them, which probably doesn't accurately reflect the flow of the game. Ball breaks again though into Larry Corbett. Corbett picks it up and heads for a goal. Patrick O'Connor's in his slipstream. Corbett has a shot. Goal by Larry Corbett. Went in over the stick of Philip Brennan, and Larry Corbett comes up with Tipperary's 3rd goal in this game. His 21st in championship action. It's raining goals in Thurles for Tipperary.
Yeah, virtually a carbon copy, Sean, of the first goal, where Pat Vaughan and Pat O'Connor, the ball came through the 2 of them. A long ball, just both of them missed it in the air again. Broke cleanly to Larry Corbett, and you know, Lars has huge burst of pace, and when he got through, there was, you know, he hit it well, but again, Philip Brennan was probably, you know, he might have been a bit unsighted, but still at the same time it passed 2 or 3 Clare guys, and you know, a good goal for Tip, but the Clare defence won't be happy with the 3 goals they have conceded so far in the game. 3
goals in 4 minutes here in the Gaelic grounds in Limerick. It's some statement from the All-Ireland champions from a situation in which they were in serious trouble. They've turned it around, 3-3 to 1-7 as Clare come on the attack. Jimmy McMahon getting in towards Dara Conan, controls it. The man who was out with a groin injury is fouled, free into Clare. And of course the important thing now from a Clare viewpoint, Nicky, is 21 minutes in, is to make sure that the concession of those 3 goals and that quick-fire 4-minute spell doesn't rock their confidence.
Yeah, they're running two points behind and should score this free here, and to get them back to within a point, you know, it'll be their first score from a free. But you know, they have been rocked, and the worrying thing about it is that their defence looks a bit porous when the ball comes down to it here, particularly on this side. But they're certainly well in it and not out of it.
So Conor McGrath puts it over the bar. First free of the afternoon for Clare. Yields the first point from the place ball. Gone over the bar, and I suppose that was something we saw in the Division 2 League final, that openness in the Clare defence as well.
Yeah, and I think it's been a feature of all their Division 1. You know, if you at that level, if you're conceding 14 goals in 6 games, it's too much.
Well tidied up, well taken out of the air by Pat Vaughan. Early ball up, looking for John Conlon to try to get away from Paddy Maher. The 2 fought, but the first up is Maher, heading back towards his own 20-metre line, but does well to gain possession of the slither. John O'Keefe decides to boom it up to that full forward line. Owen Kelly breaks it down. Patrick Bonner Maher, buoyed up by that goal, of course, sees Owen Kelly pick out a lovely ball into Noel McGrath. But Cian Dillon did the necessary just when Noel McGrath looked to be inside again. Conor Cooney, long clearance, looking for Fergal Lynch. Lynch and Conor O'Mahony are having a great battle. Conor McGrath takes a slap there, play on to the referee though. Michael Cahill blocks him at the second attempt. McGrath being forced out the field. Pressure from 2 Tipperary men. Nicky O'Connell goes in, ends up on the ground as well. Eventually, John Conlon tries to get control of the sitter but can't quite. Dara Conan is the man though that brings a little bit of control to the proceeding. Gets an early ball inside to Cahill McInerney, or Jimmy McMahon, who was swung around there. Free into Clare, and I think David Young in that instance probably knew what he was doing.
Yeah, well, I think he was behind, and he was certainly looking in trouble here. If the ball had, if Dermot had got away there was nobody behind him. He was clean in and goal. So David Young fouled him, and I'd say he's going to get a yellow card here for that. But again, you know, Clare have certainly not given up so far, and their forwards, Conor McGrath, Dara Honan, particularly John Conlon, Dermot McMahon, you know, they're all still doing well on their respective markers.
So second yellow card of the game then, 1 apiece, as Conor McGrath. Incredible to think this man is making his debut this afternoon, such is his confidence on the ball. Won a Fail under 14 skills competition in 2005. As he stands over this free, puts it straight over the bar. A goal and 3 points from the Cracklow man on his First competitive game from Clare, and he'll be quite happy with that.
Yeah, and it's not a surprise that he won a Fail of Skills competition. He's lively, very quick, and very great pair of hands.
Huge puck out by Cummins. Won by Seamus Callan. That athletic build. His shot is half blocked or in towards goal. Patrick Bonner-Maher. Good control. Good pressure though by the Clare defence, making sure that he can't quite get back onto his feet with the ball. And Patrick Vaughan clears the deal for Clare. Long ball downfield. Cahill was out in front of McGrath. Conor O'Mahony gets a touch along the ground. And eventually that ball goes out over the sideline. Will be a line ball to Clare. Nicky, we've reached the 25th minute nearly of this opening half. Have Tip settled back into it?
Yeah, it's level. Tip have got themselves out of a hole, but Clare have responded again very well to the Tip barrage of goals. And I suppose it should be said that the standard of hurling here is very, very high. We're seeing a lot of skill, and certainly a lot of it from Clare, and a lot of great attitude from Clare, and they're moving the ball very quickly.
James McInerney's line ball in what has been a very enjoyable game thus far, dealt with though by Paul Curran. David Young, huge clearance from the Toomey Verriman, looking for Owen Kelly. Great catch by the captain. Owen Kelly spins away from Conor Cooney. It's a super point by Kelly. Lovely score. I think got a slap on the hand for his troubles, but Owen Kelly gets his second point of the afternoon, his first one play. Great score.
Yeah, great catch, and you see Conor Cooney coming in with the hurley there on the strike from Owen Kelly, and see he gets him across the hand there, and to me that would be deserving of a yellow card.
So first time then that Tipperary have gone into the lead here in the Gaelic grounds in Limerick. And you'd have to be impressed, Nicky, as Owen Kelly gets back onto his feet with the way that Tipperary have dealt with the scenario that has presented them this afternoon. They've acted coolly and got the goals.
Yeah, they certainly needed those goals, because they were 6 points down, and Clare looked completely on top, and looking actually as if they were going to make the gap bigger. So the Tip needed the goals, and I suppose the one worry for Tip would be that the goals came, when they did come, they were a bit soft, particularly down along this left-hand side or the right-hand side of the Clare defence. There was a couple of balls missed there.
So John O'Keefe then, in his second championship appearance this afternoon, and his debut of course against Cork 3 weeks ago. The 22-year-old doesn't hit it all that well. Cathal McInerney has done well to reclaim the ball, but it's picked out of the sky there by Conor O'Mahony and driven upfield. James McInerney deals with that ball. He's fouled though by Owen Kelly, and James McInerney picking himself up gingerly. James Owens has taken out the black notebook. I think it'll only be a word of caution perhaps for the Tipperary captain, or will it? Oh, he seems to be interested in having a chat with the Mullinahone maestro.
Well, there's no question it was a free, and maybe Owen is still a little bit angry after the last challenge, and looks like he's going to get a yellow card here, which is maybe harsh enough, but
might be maybe some variables going back to the previous incident perhaps.
There may have been, and certainly Owen, there was no question it is a foul, and he probably got to give him a dead leg as well, maybe.
So James McInerney picking himself up then. The man who made his debut with Clare back in 2006. Played at full back, in fact, in the 2009 qualifier against Galway in Cusack Park, where he was marking Joe Canning.
Interestingly, that ball again broke in over the Clare half back line, and Owen Kelly was breaking onto it, but that's been Clare's problem. Cooney and Dillon have been very much on top in the full back line, but just in the half back line they've missed a couple of balls in the air, and that's where the danger has occurred.
John O'Brien out at left half forward for Tipperary. Seamus Callan now in at the edge of the square. That free taken by Nicky O'Connell, dropping into the danger area, still alive, but referee has spotted an infringement, and that'll be a free out to the Premier County.
Conor McGrath looking a bit perplexed. He probably was in the square, but there was actually a good chance for Fergal Lynch when the ball came out. If it had played it to continue, he had a chance of a goal.
Yeah, it was deemed as a square ball. Yeah.
It's no harm to look perplexed anyway, I suppose.
Spoken by a forward, we'd expect nothing else. Great catch by John O'Brien from the free out. O'Brien goes back to make progress, back to Paulie Maher. Maher, huge effort, it's high, and it's over the bar. One of the points of the afternoon comes from the Thurles Sarsfield's wing-back, super score. by the man that was captain of the under-21 team last season.
Yeah, that's a great score by Paddy Maher, and he's hit more ball than any Tip player today. He's been Tip's most consistent and best player since the game started, and that particularly so when he's on John Conlon, who's one of Clare's most promising attackers.
Well picked up there by Jeremy McMahon. Fires that ball in, but overhit. Asking a lot from Cathal McInerney, who's now gone into the right corner. It's held up, and that allows the Cratloe man to gain possession. Knocked out over the sideline though by John O'Keefe, but a chance for Clare to build an attack then. Clare's last championship win over Tipperary came in 2003. As this line ball is being placed by Cathal McInerney, a man who played under 21 football championship with Clare this season. Taken easily though by Pádraig Maher. His confidence is high after that magnificent point. Larry Corbett tries to get a touch in it, comes out to John O'Brien. O'Brien looks for his options, steadies himself, nonchalantly knocks it off the sod in the Gaelic grounds, but in the end it was a little bit of overplay. Keane Dillon gets it down to Cathal McInerney. Lovely layoff to Jeremy McMahon. McMahon high, and the cousin of the former great Shawnee McMahon dissects the post. Second point of the day for the Kilmaley man. Well taken score.
Yeah, fantastic score by Dermot McMahon, but it was a great pick up by Cathal McInerney, and Clare are actually using their hand to catch to pick the ball off, to get the ball into their hand quickly off the ground. They're not using their hurley, and everything they're doing is very sharp.
Yeah, Jeremy McMahon at number 11 now for Clare as the ball breaks out into Seamus Callan in oceans of space. One man that's well able to use the space. Callan knocks it nonchalantly almost over the bar. Well taken score, his second of the day.
Very easy score by Seamus Callan, and again a tip forward, actually getting into space between the Clare half back line and full back line. He too much space, and Clare will just have to counteract that and make sure that they're stopping the ball in their half back line.
It's even noticeable for this puck out how deep John O'Brien is bringing Patrick O'Connor, the wing back, out away from that half back line to create that space. Conor O'Mahony has settled into the game in the last 15 minutes or so, up towards Seamus Callan. Well blocked down by McInerney, but Callan goes again. Lovely ball in front of his full forward line. Pat Vaughan gets a touch. Larry Corbett is interested, picks it up, turning around for Conor Cooney, gets inside, hand pass out. Noel McGrath is there, but Keane Dillon, vital interception, breaks back to Owen Kelly. Owen Kelly eyes the point, has the shot, but for once it goes to the right hand side and wide. Third wide of the day for Tip. Unusual to see that man missing.
Certainly unusual to see Owen missing from there, but it was a chance before that with Larry Corbett coming through in goal, and the Clare defence did well to bottle him up. I thought Alar might have taken a shot as opposed to pass it back out.
So Philip Brennan looking for John Conlon with this puck out. Ball breaking too. Conlon tries to get onto it when it hits the deck, but the man that's the master in that particular sector of the field is Pádraig Maher. He's fouled by Conlon, but Maher is having some game at number 7, Nicky.
Yeah, he's having a storming game, loses the hurley here, and comes out and certainly wins a free. And I'm surprised that so far the Clare maybe haven't tried to take John Conlon and take him somewhere else, because he's an important player for Clare, and really he hasn't been in it at all. And Paddy Maher has been totally dominant there.
So Fergal Lynch then picking up the yellow card, and the other aspect there is the physical conditioning of this Tipperary team. Maher's upper body strength, very impressive.
Yeah, he's a huge man.
So Conor O'Mahony then to take the free. His 30th championship appearance for Clare this afternoon. Well taken though by the man wearing 6 at the other end. That's James McInerney. Out to Jeremy McMahon, was too long swinging in the first instance, but gets better with the second one. Into Cathal McInerney, the goal is on. Oh, great save by Brendan Cummins. Wonderful advance by the Tipperary custodian. Ball is still alive. Derek Honan kicks it inside, but is tidied up by, guess who? Pádraig Maher. But a magnificent save by Brendan Cummins.
Yeah, Clare really had a great chance. Colin had a great chance for goal.
Meanwhile, Noel McGrath pops it high and pops it over the bar. Lovely score by Noel McGrath. His first point of the afternoon, and how quickly a game can change. What could have been a Clare goal becomes a Tipperary point.
Yeah, brilliant save by Cummins. He stands up and makes himself big, and not for once he's saved Tipperary in a very dangerous situation. But Cathal McInerney, really, he should have scored.
The puck out, clipped along the ground by Paul Curran. 3-7 for Tipperary, 1-10 for Clare. Seamus Callan, half blocked there by James McInerney, and that comes off the Clare man's stick, and that's a line ball far side of the field. How vital was that save, though, by Brendan Cummins in his 64th championship appearance, Nicky?
Yeah, absolutely vital. And again, I say not for the first time, but John O'Keefe again at cornerback. You know, it's his first day at cornerback in senior championship, and a little bit naive because he's getting his man is getting in behind him, and you know that's letting the corner forward catch the ball behind you. Really, at cornerback at the intercounty level is not on the menu.
David Young with a line ball. Doesn't go where he intended to. Nicky O'Connell winning the ball for Clare under pressure from Shane McGrath, but Nicky O'Connell getting it inside to this full forward line again, but in this instance it's overhit, and that becomes Clare's second wide of the afternoon. They've been quite economical. Yeah,
they've taken all the chances virtually that have presented themselves. What they haven't done is got ball into Darragh Honan or down on top of Darragh Honan.
Meanwhile, there's a little bit of action off the ball. Shane McGrath, Jim McMahon and Nicky O'Connell are the latest triumvirate to exchange greetings. There will be 2 minutes of additional time at the end of this opening half. A half that has been more than enjoyable.
Yeah, it's been excellent, and you know, Clare's good start has really helped that, and they're still there's only 3 points in it, and you know, as you can see, they're still creating chances for goals, and I think we'll create more in the second half.
Puck out by Cummins then, goes towards John O'Brien, well taken down by Patrick O'Connor. Getting a helping hand from Jonathan Clancy. Garrod Ryan comes in to try and gain possession for Tip. He does just that, runs into a wall of Claremen, all three of them. John Conlon back helping out the defence in this deep lying role. Conlon using his strength to try and break the challenge from John O'Brien. Good bit of play by John Conlon, who, as you say, Nicky, is under pressure to get into the game from play, but dropped deep in that instance. Yeah,
he's a great spirited player and a very strong man himself. He's just that he's come up against Pádraig Maher, who's having an outstanding game today. But if Gerald Loughlin is there, and you'd have to be absolutely delighted with the way Clare are playing in the first half. You know, when Garrod Ryan got that ball, Clare were hunting in packs and 3 men around him. He had to release it, or else he was going to give away a free, and then Conlon back to help and winning a free from here. So great display in the first half by Clare.
We're into the final minute then of the additional time. So can Nicky O'Connell get this into the danger zone to see if the banner can get a score before half-time. Dropping into the danger zone, Brendan Cummins comes out, the ball came off the midriff of the goalkeeper, but out he comes eventually. Ball glued to the stick and gets it away, anywhere will do, under pressure from Conor McGrath. Nicky O'Connell vying for possession, but he was robbed there by the ace that is Noel McGrath. Plays a diagonal ball, looking for Seamus Cannon. Oh, look at that for a pick-up. Class play by Cannon, but then he throws it up, and the sheer weight of numbers from Clare put him under pressure. Fantastic work rate by the Clare team. James McInerney gets a stick to it, but Shane McGrath gets the vital touch out to Noel McGrath. Noel McGrath off the left, hits it high. The umpire has a long look, and it tails off to the right and wide. Wide number 4.
Yeah, but Clare are forcing Tip to work really hard. Like 3 or 4 Clare men around the ball, hooking Seamus Callan, and you know, ultimately when they do get it to Noel McGrath, he's under pressure.
That's the last action of the first half, Nicky English. Both teams will be quite pleased with different aspects of that opening half.
Yeah, well, I think Gerald Loughlin much happier than Declan Ryan. Tip's goals were by and large soft. They did well to come back from where they were, but Clare will be absolutely delighted with their display in the first half, and more to come.
So half-time then in this Munster Championship semi-final. It's Tipperary 3 goals and 7 points. Clare 1 goal and 10.
A feast of goals and a cracking match. We have analysis coming up next. A fantastic game here in Limerick. The All-Ireland champions Tipperary having it put up to them by a Clare team. Tipperary 3 points ahead, perhaps somewhat fortunate. Let's have a look. The wides, 4 wides from Tipperary, 2 from Clare. And in possession, Clare having slightly more of the possession than Tipperary, having enjoyed a whirlwind start to the game. Let's talk to our analysts who have enjoyed this match enormously so far. It wasn't perhaps what we expected, but also it could have been a lot closer, Ollie. At the end there, Brendan Cummins, you felt, or the lads felt, it may have been perhaps a 21 free in here and another scoring opportunity for Clare.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at it there, I think there was definitely a suspicion of Brendan picking the ball off the ground, but when we looked closer at it, there was a closer in shot later, and I think the ball actually came up his legs actually, and he didn't actually pick the ball straight off the ground. If we look very closely at it here, I think the ball actually finds its way Be careful how you word this, but up between his legs, and he takes it from there. So I think the ref, I got it correct on that occasion.
Jay-Z, what about a whirlwind start for Clare? Take us through this.
Well, Ger Loughlin will be thrilled with the way the team started. I mean, we highlighted Conor McGrath was before the game that, you know, good things happen when this guy got the ball, and I mean, this is just a fantastic goal. I mean, he picks the ball 45 metres out from goal, one thing in his mind, straight through the middle, and just watch this finish. Top speed, top corner, unstoppable shot.
What would the temptation have been so early in the game just to take the point?
It would, but this guy's a finisher, you know, and he doesn't lack confidence. And there's a touch, I suppose, at the Paul Flynn. You know, certain players just have that finisher's instinct, that you know, that desire to go for it. And you know, I mean, he showed that plum to go through the centre of the tip defence and do what he did. And
then, of course, there were other points as well which were added in, and that's 6-point start for the game.
Absolutely, we see McGrath here again. He's had to work very, very hard for his scores again. Makes the room for himself. Good off both sides, and that's again a cool score from. And this is his first championship match, Matt. So,
but Dahi, how much will perhaps Clare rue that they've maybe ruined it for themselves? The defensive naivety that we spoke about before the game showing itself with the goals they conceded.
Yeah, a lot of what we had spoke about seems to be happening. I mean, the key players up front, it's happening for them, particularly McGrath. But defensively, you know, the 3 goals came from mistakes. I think in this case, it's a goalkeeper in error. You mentioned Jamesy. He should have called his full back either to let it through or, you know, block it out. But that's a very poor error. A high ball. I mean, at no stage was John O'Brien comfortable under that dropping ball. He was never going to catch it. But for the goalie to come out, he's totally exposed himself. A brilliant finish for Owen Kelly. Saw it, struck it off the ground straight away. The following 2 goals actually that they got, both came off of breaks. Both of them. Bonner Maher, look, he's watching the ball coming through, he goes onto it, picks it at speed, no one inside. He's no one to throw it to this time, Jamesy, so the boys won't be able to give out to him. But that's his first goal in Championship hurling. But again, he watched the break coming down, he took it, picked it at speed, ran through the heart of the defence. So I mean, you're right, Matt, correct. They will be ruined this, and again.
And what about this one off the puck out, Ollie?
Yeah, I mean, Lar Corbett had come out the field at this stage. Lar just watched the ball coming through, it broke straight through to him, and Lar goes straight through. Again, only one thing in his mind, goal, and he great
But
strike.
off the puck out, were there too many men going for the ball and not enough looking for the runners for the breaking ball?
Maybe the Clare backs were a bit naive. They just got sucked in under the ball. Lar, a lot of experience. He just stayed off. The ball broke through and Lar was straight in for a goal. But you would expect maybe some of the Clare backs maybe try and get across to Lar, because when Lar gets the ball, I think he's only one thing in his mind.
We will have more analysis of this great game after this. Tipperary over Clare, but a cracking Clare performance. And I think, Dahi, it's fair to say you love the physicality that Clare brought to this game.
Well, at the start in particular, but it's what you expect. I mean, James, you made the point. The Clare team of old, that's what they did. They just swarmed around you in numbers, and the first 7 or 8 minutes, the hits were brilliant. I mean, I think that's a fantastic hit. That's what you got to do. In their face, they're All-Ireland champions. You show them no respect. You get in and you get in amongst them, and that's what Clare do well. It's what Clare done traditionally well for the years. They have brilliant hurlers in defence, big, strong men. They took no nonsense. You went into their domain, you came out and you knew. And that's what they're doing today. That's what they need to continue it.
Clare have to play with that intensity and that passion, that honesty. I mean, we're at nothing if we don't, and thankfully the younger players are really standing up in that, did in that first half.
Let's have a look at the puck-outs, though, because it's always so important in hurling, and yet it seems both teams seem to be struggling to actually get their puck-outs to where they want to go. Clare have lost quite a few there, 9 of their 13.
Absolutely, and we spoke about that battle between John Conlon and Pádraig Maher, and Maher has won that battle hands down. Now, Conlon has done some good things, but Maher is particularly good in the air, and I think Clare should be looking to go to Jim McMahon maybe on the other side of the field. Tip, again, I suppose the way they're moving around, it's hard to see who's winning the possession for them, but certainly Seamus Callan on the right-hand side of the screen there, as we look at it, has the better things in the air there. But a pretty even spread, Matt, possession-wise. I mean, Clare have had, I think, 52%. They'll be delighted with that, and only 2 wides, which means they've made relatively good.
And just on that
ball.
puck-out, we quickly see a point that Seamus Callan scored as a result of the puck-out strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, on this one here, I mean, again, you see the Clare guys getting sucked in there. Seamus Callan's down the wing, nice first-time ball from McGrath. Seamus picks it up, carries it in a bit, and then strikes it over the bar. But again, like Lara Corbett's goal, the Clare backs got sucked in under that puck out and left the guy free outside.
Jamesy, can Clare keep this up? Because they must be disappointed, having played so well in the first half, to be 3 points down.
Absolutely, and there's a question, Matt, given the intensity of that first half and the way they've had to work, you'd wonder, can they sustain it? I mean, a young team, they won't necessarily have the same conditioning as Tip will, with extended runs in the championship in each of the last 2 seasons. So I think Ger Loughlin will need to go to his bench and get fresh legs in, particularly in that last quarter.
What do you think, though? Would you think the fact that the adrenaline will keep them going, Ollie?
Yeah, it's a big game, and they're going to be very happy at half-time. They realistically, a couple of goals for Tipperary came against the run of play there. Owen Kelly's goal, maybe the first ball he struck, and he got in the back of the net. So Clare have to be happy enough, but they're going to have to keep it up for the second half.
And does that suggest that perhaps if it is tightened up a bit in the Clare defence, that Tipperary aren't playing particularly well, not getting as many scores as you might expect?
I think Tip actually finished very well the last 15 minutes. They certainly look more likely to score goals than Clare at the moment, although just before half-time, Brendan Cummins pulled off a fantastic save. Down his throat, straight away, came out, great save altogether, which was crucial. Would have brought back Clare back level. Clare need the first 10 minutes of the second half to really establish a foothold in this game again, stick with Tip, but they must be aware of Tip's runners from breaking balls from the likes of puckouts, because when Tip's runners are picking it up, they have one thing in their mind and one thing only, and that's goal. They've got to stop that.
OK, let's go back over to our commentary team now for the second half of this exciting match. Nicky English and Sean Walsh.
Well, both teams are back on the field here in front of the official attendance here this afternoon, which is 16,700 paying customers into the Gaelic grounds this afternoon. When they met here 2 years ago at semi-final stage, 20,872 was the official attendance. Tipperary have made 2 changes at half-time, incidentally. Stephen Lillis, wearing number 22, comes into defence, as does Paddy Stapleton, wearing the number 25 jersey. And John O'Keefe and David Young are the 2 players that have been taken off. So Declan Ryan making the changes at half-time. Ball is in and the second half is underway. Slight breeze with Tipperary in this second half, as James McInerney gets the first ball into the Clare attack to Conor McGrath. Lovely little ball into the path of Jonathan Clancy. Didn't get it under control though, but was fouled, deemed James Owens. So a free into Clare. But Nicky English, Declan Ryan, his management team making not 1 but 2 changes in defence.
Yeah, he hasn't been hanging about, and I suppose it reflects how well Conor McGrath did in the first half, and also Dermot McMahon, who was on David Young. And you know, Declan is not hanging around. Paddy Stapleton is coming back in, and Paddy was under a bit of pressure himself against Cork, so it's a good chance for him to re-establish himself onto the team. I think the free here for Jonathan Clancy was a bit soft, and a good chance for Conor McGrath just to get Clare up and running again in the second half.
Yes, Clare's scoring rate dropped at the end of that opening half, as Conor McGrath stands over this free then. Man of the match in Cratylow's county final win of 2009. The first ever county title victory in Clare. He sends it high, puts it straight over the bar. That's the start that Gerard O'Loughlin and his management team would have wanted from Clare from the second half. First blood to the banner.
Yeah, they played with a lot of intensity in the first half, and Tip probably lucky in some senses to get the 3 goals. So Gerard O'Loughlin want Clare to keep up the intensity as well for the second half and put Tip back in the back foot again.
Stephen Lillis is operating at right half back for the Tip men, and Paddy Stapleton is operating in the left corner back position. Lillis making his championship debut as Paddy Stapleton gets onto the ball, gets his first touch. Back to Conor O'Mahony. Long ball up to his forward line. John O'Brien gets a touch, breaks down. Conor Cooney tried to deal with it from the Clare perspective. James McInerney does. Gets the pass away to Jonathan Clancy. Lively player in the middle of the field for the banner. Conor O'Mahony though takes down his long ball upfield. O'Mahony spraying it down to Patrick Bonner-Maher. Quick little hand pass to Noel McGrath. He then picks out Seamus Callan. Untidy play by Tipperary in that instance. Moved along the ground well there by Clare. Shane McGrath playing it in front of John O'Brien. Vital touch though, breaks inside again to Shane McGrath. Will he be happy to take the point? He will. Shane McGrath guides that ball over the bar. The man from Ballynahinch gets his first point, and the 2 Tipperary midfielders have now scored.
Great vision by Noel McGrath just to pick out Shane McGrath and, you know, hop the ball off the ground into his hand. But you know, play was a bit scrappy before that, and Clare don't seem to be approaching with the same energy that they had in the first half, and that could be a worry for them.
So 1-11 now in Championship Hurling for Garrod Ryan, or Shane McGrath I should say in that instance. That's Shane McGrath on the ball again. 17 points to 14. Nice control by John O'Brien. Keane Dillon though did very well when the ball broke to get onto it. Looking for Dara Conan to get onto this ball. Paul Curran is there though. Michael Cahill comes in, the corner back. The man who won All-Ireland medals at senior and under 21 level last year. Ball goes out over the line. And Derek Conan is a man I think that Clare will look to try and get more involved in the game in the second half, Nicky.
Yeah, I don't think from a Clare perspective that he's been involved enough. You know, he's an extremely talented player, and as you saw there in the last bit of action, he's very, very quick as well, and surprisingly quick for a big man. But Yeah, they haven't. You know, he's a great hand as well, and if they could get ball into him, he is a threat, a goal threat. And I think, you know, from the position they're in now, Clare will need a goal or two, and quickly to get Tip back on the back foot.
Stephen Lillis from the county champions Thurles Sarsfields taking that line ball, but James McInerney ensures that it goes up out over the line.
Yeah, certainly the start of the second half isn't as certainly the intensity has dropped and the pace has dropped a bit, and that would be a worry for Gerald Loughlin. I think you know, Tip at this pace, if you let Tip if you give him space, if the likes of Noel McGrath, Seamus Callanan and Larry Corbett get space, and then they can punish teams.
Gerald O'Loughlin then will want to see that intensity back in the Clare game. Shane McGrath, good line ball, breaks in the danger area. Patrick O'Connor does well, heading back towards his own goal. Gets the pass away to Jonathan Clancy. It's away from the Tipperary challenges and gets it downfield to Jeremy McMahon. McMahon offloads just behind Nicky O'Connell though, but O'Connell does well to retrieve the ball. Taking on the two Tipperary midfielders, Garrod Ryan stops his progress. In comes John Conlon. Conlon, lovely bit of control. Scored the winning point for NUIG in the Fitzgibbon Cup final of 2 years ago, and that's a lovely score by John Conlon. His second point of the day. And the man from Clonlara puts it over the bar. Well taken point.
Yeah, that's what you'll want. John Conlon actually is a great striker off the left, particularly coming across that way. Very strong man. I thought Nicky O'Connell had overdone it, but good score.
Ball breaks. Lara Corbett and Seamus Callanan almost in each other's way. Long ball looking for Noel McGrath. Conor Coney did enough, but McGrath is inside. Bearing down a goal, kicks it into the net, but referee has blown the whistle. James Owens has blown the whistle. Owen Kelly looks at the Wexford official in disgust. The ball was finished to the net by Noel McGrath. He plays a bit of football too, and he showed it there.
You see James McInerney pulled the hurley out of his hand, and you know, I think it was clear to everybody, I think, that Noel McGrath was going to finish with his boot, so I think it's a disadvantage to Tip, and if Clare can save this, it'll be a big help to them.
So the penalty has been awarded. James McInerney has been the man to be spoken to by James Owens. This could be a crucial juncture in the game. Yellow card then for James McInerney from Newmarket. And the penalty will now ensue. And this will be Owen Kelly country. In fact, it's going to be a 20-metre free. There were only 3 Claremen in on the goal line initially, but it's a 20-metre free.
It's hard to understand. I'd like to see that again. I thought certainly Noel McGrath was in the square when he pulled the hurley from him.
No, yeah, the referee is just getting the 2 umpires to cross the flags to ensure that the goal has been disallowed. Yeah, there was the slap actually.
Well, probably the initial free probably did take place outside the square. So
now the arms are outstretched by the referee, which would indicate that it's a penalty, which exactly was our first thought.
I was trying to logically give him the benefit of the doubt as to why he gave the free. So
Owen Kelly, the 6-time All-Star, stands over a penalty then in the Gaelic grounds in Limerick, 5 minutes into the second half of the Munster Senior Hurling Championship semi-final. Waterford await the winners. Kelly has already hit 1 goal and 2 points in the game. He's on his way, taking his time, striking, deflected over the bar, is it? No, it's deflected out. And it's still alive, and Conor Coney is the man that takes it away. Patrick Donlan, I think, was the man that saved it. Excellent work by the Clare defence, and it could be a game-changing moment, perhaps. Jeremy McMahon. Long ball down the other end of the field, Colin McInerney. And Dara Conan almost getting in each other's way. Conor McGrath comes in along the end line. Eddie Stapleton putting him under pressure. McGrath, did he pick that one off the carpet? Stapleton sticking to his task there. Dara Conan trying to offload, but sheer weight of numbers and the physicality of the Tipperary defence ensure that ball is clear. Breaks into the path of Lara Corbett, and here goes the speedster. Corbett bearing down a goal. The shot blocked by Cian Dillon. I think there was an important hook in there on Corbett as well. So in the last 60 seconds or so, 2 goal chances have been spurned by the All-Ireland champions. It remains a 2-point ball game. Tip in front by those 2 points. Diarmuid McMahon rolling back the ears, gaining possession in the half-back line area that he would be well used to. James McGrath, or James Owens, awards the free against the Clare man. Is that a controversial call?
I think he's signalling that this is, first of all, it hits the crossbar, and Pat Donlan actually did two superb hook on Larry Corbett, but he also blocked the follow-up shot on the penalty. So great work by Pat Donlan. This is a controversial free because Darragh Honan seemed to be held at one side, and then certainly Diarmuid McMahon seemed to be held there by the tip defenders, and he played the ball with his hand, probably threw it up. We couldn't see it, but it looked as if that was a sign that the referee was given. So good break for Tip, and you know, after Clare scoring or saving the penalty, if they could have got a score at the other side, would have certainly put the pressure back on Tip.
So Owen Kelly, just 2 minutes ago, he stood over a penalty. There was no dividend from that. This time he stands over the free, and he makes 100% sure a goal and 3 points now for Owen Kelly, as Tip again go to their bench, and Pa Burke of Thurles Sarsfields is introduced, and John O'Brien is the man that's been taken off.
Yeah, John O'Brien has not had one of his better days. He's been, you know, Cian Dillon has done very well on him, and you know, Tip are, you know, other than the goals in the first half, they're Clare are matching them everywhere.
John O'Brien, the only Tip forward that didn't actually score in the game. So the game is still delicately poised. John Conlon half-hooked, manages to find Conor McGrath. 3 Tipperary men are in his slipstream. Lovely pass though, picked out to Diarmuid McMahon. High by McMahon, but from the minute it left the come on, it was always veering to the right-hand side and should have been a point.
Yeah, that certainly should have been a point. That was a very bad miss by Diarmuid McMahon after great work again by Conor McGrath.
Clare's third wide. Puck out back there. The pace is beginning to be upped again as Pa Burke gets onto the ball. Pa Burke, regular contributor for Clare or for Tipperary from the bench, but in this instance he puts it wide. Yeah, it's fairly kind of a period now, Nicky, isn't it?
Yeah, this game is Tipperary are far from out of the woods here, and if Clare could actually up it again and get a couple of scores here, you know, they're very much in it.
Pat Donlan at centre back for Clare, marking Seamus Callan as Fergal Lynch gets onto the ball in the half-forward line for the banner, picking out Nicky O'Connell. O'Connell well hooked by Noel McGrath. Seamus Callan and Conor McGrath vie for possession. The Clare man again goes through the eye of a needle. Lovely play by Conor McGrath. Didn't quite give it enough purchase though. And Brendan Cummins, the All-Ireland puck father champion, of course, of yore, drives a long ball downfield into his captain Owen Kelly. Can he release? Pa Burke, vital interception though. And Cian Dillon did well to start that out from a Clare viewpoint. Patrick Donlan looking for Darragh Honan. Ball picked up though by Paulie Maher, making headway out of that Tipperary defence, finding Garrod Ryan. Garrod Ryan from the middle of the field. Superb score by Ryan. When the need was greatest, Pádraig Maher set up Garrod Ryan for his second score of the game.
Yeah, Pádraig Maher picking up where he left off in the first half, and again, Garrod Ryan is very, very reliable, very accurate when he gets a shot from around midfield.
The Tip crowd getting behind their team. It hasn't been vintage from the All-Ireland champions this afternoon, as Nicky O'Connell has a shot from the sideline on the terrace side of the field, and that goes to the left-hand side of wide. Vital now that Clare show a little bit of composure in those situations.
Yeah, they've had a couple of chances there now, and the last time, you know, Conor McGrath took a shot where Fergal Lynch was free as well, so they could have had 3 points there, and whoever gets the next couple of scores here is going to be very vital.
The Skilbin Cup winners for Clare combining. James McInerney finding Jonathan Clancy. Early ball inside, taken by Pádraig Maher. He is beginning to resume the tour de force performance that he gave in the opening half. Lovely ball into space, but there was no one on the same wavelength. In a blue and gold jersey at least. Conor Cooney has the calmness to pick out his cornerback. That's Cian Dillon, who has played most of this game in the fullback position, and his clearance again, maybe that's where a little bit of experience comes in. He could have used that ball perhaps a little bit better.
Yeah, certainly Clare up to now have been using the ball very well, but you know, Cian Dillon, a rush clearance, and you know, maybe as Clare, they've put a lot of effort into it, as maybe as they get a little bit more tired here in the second half, you know, the mistakes are starting to creep in, and certainly that was you know, he's just putting the pressure back on himself again, because Shane McGrath have this 50 or 60 yards back in on top of him again now, very quickly.
48 minutes then, 3:10 for the All-Ireland champions, 1:12 for Clare, playing their first championship game of 2011. And this the third Munster Championship game of the year. Nice rob, a lovely turn by Seamus Callanan. What a score by Seamus Callanan. They talk about the proverbial turning on a sixpence. There you had it. Point number 3 from Callanan. Super score.
Yeah, and previously Nicky O'Connell had got a chance to rise it. So, you know, the gap is up to 5 points there now, and Tip starting to get the scores easier. Clare need to just hang in here now and actually up, if possible, up the intensity. But they look tired, and you know, that's because they've put in a huge effort in the first half. So they certainly need a goal or get the ball to Darragh Honan, who's he's come out here to wing forward now to try and win ball. Sorry, corner forward.
Yeah, some running repairs there to Conor Cooney. The man, of course, whose uncle Donald played with Clare. Since the penalty miss, Tip have scored 3 points without reply, and I suppose that is the danger, Nicky, now from a Clare point of view. They're 5 points down. It wouldn't take much for the lead to be extended to 7-8 and for Tip maybe to go out of sight.
Yeah, that's particularly with the Tip forwards, if they start to get a bit of space. If up to now Clare have been able to close them down, but they've been working really hard to do it. So as you're tired, that's not always as easy to do. They need a score.
Fergal Lynch in the centre forward channel does well to win the ball, gets it out to John Conlon. Well blocked again by Pádraig Maher. They really have had some battle, the two of those guys. Maher making his way upfield. Has a shot from the left half forward position. The umpires look, they're not interested though. Goes wide. What a game Maher is having, and again we wonder, would Clare consider moving Conlon off him, Nicky?
Yeah, I'm surprised that they haven't moved John Conlon earlier, because you know he is important, and every time he's got on the ball he's done something, but he can't get on the ball because Pádraig Maher is just having a magnificent game.
Great catch by Conor O'Mahony from the Clare puck out. Went soaring into the clouds with that one. Patrick O'Connor, though, at the other end does likewise. Patrick O'Connor, a shot that's high and it goes wide. He took a challenge as he got that shot away, but it becomes a wide statistic merely.
Yeah, and that's, you know, Clare have needed scores here. They haven't taken any of the chances that have come to them and have rushed, and that's another one of them. So they need to get any chance they get, they need to score.
Patrick Donlan robbed though by Patrick Maher. Here comes Bonner Maher, but he then in turn has his pocket picked by Patrick Donlan. Keane Dillon is out there along with Pat Vaughan. Stalemate situation. Eventually picked up by Lar Corbett. Lovely crossfield ball picking out Noel McGrath. Noel McGrath, like a well-oiled machine, pops it over the bar. Noel McGrath gets his second point of the day, and therein lies the difference so far in the opening stages of the second half. Nicky English, Clare have got chances at one end, they haven't taken them. Tip have got them at the other, so they have.
Yeah, and Tip will take all these chances because, you know, their forwards have a lot of class, and interestingly there you had 4 or 5 Clare fellas over that ball in the corner, and they were all slow to get up.
Picked up by Garrow Droyne in the middle of the field. Clare haven't scored since the 11th minute. In 11 minutes, I should say. Patrick Donlan stops the latest attack by the Premier men. Patrick O'Connor. Nice ball that eventually breaks into the path of Conor McGrath. Jonathan Clancy makes a little run off the ball for him to draw the defenders. Conor McGrath goes one way, then hits the other way in towards the goal, but again didn't have the legs to get over the bar, and Brendan Cummins will take those all day. Huge clearance by Cummins down to Lar. Gets it back to Seamus Callanan. Well blocked down though. Great block by Patrick O'Connor, but it's picked up again by Seamus Callanan. And again with consummate ease, Seamus Callanan puts it over the bar. 4 points now from Callanan. You just can't give him the chance.
Yeah, in the first half, you know, Clare were putting in able to keep the effort up and put pressure on him and bottle him up. You see there, even when Pat O'Connor blocked, you know, he was on the ground, there was no one else to come in, and Seamus Callanan was able to pick it up and without under any pressure put it over the bar.
Puck out again from Clare. It's Tipperary though that win it. Stephen Lillis moves the ball up towards Pal Burke. Lovely little layoff into the path of Noel McGrath. For once it didn't come up the first time from McGrath. Gets away from the challenge though from James McInerney. Back to Pal Burke. Pal Burke now, there's oceans of space if he can get away. Pal Burke is happy to guide the ball over the bar. The man from Thurles Sarsfields puts it high and over the bar in his 11th championship appearance for Tipperary. Well taken score.
Yeah, now the gaps are opening up for Tip, and they will punish you in cases like that, and Clare are tiring. You see James McInerney, he was under pressure there. Pat Donlan, players that have played very well up to now, they're coming under a bit of pressure.
Suddenly on 53 minutes, the gap is 8 points. The All-Ireland champions beginning to flex their muscles as John Conlon has a shot down at the other end, and that's a very good score. And the one thing about John Conlon is he's a classy player, Nicky. I mean, that's his 3rd point of the day, and you just wonder if he was away from Maher. I know we keep reiterating the point, what he could do.
Yeah, every time he's got a shot on goals, he's scored, particularly off his left-hand side, and I just think it's certainly, we've said it before, but it's certainly worth a try, because Paddy Maher has just been absolutely brilliant. But I think actually if they're listening to us, I think he's going to midfield now.
So Cormac O'Donovan, the man from Clonlara, his twin brother, of course, Donald, misses out through injury this afternoon. He comes in, and Nicky O'Connell, the midfielder, is the man that's taken off. So it's one under-21 winner in 2009 for another. 13.5 minutes between the two Clare scores, so that's a long gap.
Yeah, particularly when they had a few chances during that gap, and could have kept pressure on Tip.
So John Conlon goes to midfield, where he'll be picked up by Garrod Ryan. Keane Dillon tries to flick it away, but it's picked up by Lar Corbett. Almost a reverse hand pass. Well taken by Noel McGrath. McGrath, dangerous ball. Oh, look at that for a score. Noel McGrath. That was all about the wrist, Nicky English. He hadn't an ounce of room almost to move, but he guided it over the bar, and it just got there.
Yeah, the biggest job he had was to try and avoid Pa Burke. He had to get him to take evasive action first.
Long puck out, looking for Fergal Lynch. Breaks into the path of John Conlon. Conlon has a shot this time off the left, and John Conlon guides it, comes back off the woodwork. Conor McGrath is in there, but Brendan Commons is also there. But the man that tidies up is Michael Cahill. Dispossessed by Dara Conan though. McGrath keeping it alive for Clare. Being outnumbered, gets the pass back. Jérôme McMahon ends up on the ground. He's fouled, free in, but just for a fleeting second there, Nicky English, there was a bit of hesitancy in the Tipperary defence.
Yeah, always dangerous when it comes back off the post, and you know, Conor McGrath got onto it pretty quickly, but in fairness to the Tip defence, they crowded around him very quickly, and Michael Cahill got on it and brought it out, and I think it's a pretty simple free really by awarded to Clare. It was like a
early stages of this second half. We're 20 minutes in. Clare have hit 3 points in those 20 minutes. Tipperary, in contrast, have gone from 3-7 to 3-15. Therein lies the difference as Conor McGrath stands over this free. Puts it high and over the bar. A personal tally of a goal and 5 points for Conor McGrath. And it just about keeps Clare in touch, Nicky.
Yeah, they certainly, Clare to get back in this game, they need at least one goal, or maybe two, and you know, they need to get the ball quickly into the square and try and get Dara Honan or someone involved in there.
Huge hook out by Brendan Cummins, well caught out of the air there by Patrick Donlan. O'Callaghan's Mills club, and then gives it away, intercepted by Callan. Patrick Bonner Maher is onto it, gets it back to Seamus Callan. Get the ball to the finisher seems to be the motto, but in this instance the finisher doesn't do the business.
Yeah, unusual that he didn't score there, but again, Pat Donlan is, you know, a simple mistake. You know, he should have easily got that hand pass
after doing
away.
well to pick it out of the air initially.
All the hard work was done, and just those little mistakes have crept into the Clare game in the second half.
Interestingly, James McInerney is now in the full back position, picking up Noel McGrath as Tipperary continue this movement of their forwards. Shea McGrath bringing the fight to the bannerman, gets it out to Pa Burke, who's already notched the points as his introduction. Pa Burke high, and Pa Burke in this instance puts it to the right and wide.
Normally very accurate, Pa Burke, and you know, beautiful striker of the ball. You know, it has again come up through the ranks of those successful minor and under-21 teams in Tip, and you know, Noel McGrath, Bonner Maher himself, Seamus Callan, all very used to playing with one another.
That ball is flashed wide. They're continuing their process of just picking up man for man in the defensive area, which sees some unusual positionings at times, but the movement in this Tipperary attack has to be seen to be believed, Nicky.
Yeah, I mean, I really to mark them, you just have to mark man to man, because they're moving so much, they'll all come around it and eventually get back to their own positions.
Pat Vaughan, long ball upfield. Conor McGrath gets onto it. Getting away there from Paddy Stapleton, and Conor McGrath puts it over the bar. I think we're seeing the birth of a young star in the Munster Championship this afternoon. A goal and 6 points now for the Cracklow man, and he certainly exudes confidence.
Well, he's an outstanding player, and you know he's just classic striker of the ball and great hands.
Ball robbed again there from the Tipperary men by Lara Corbett. Has a shot, but immediately goes to the left-hand side of the wide. It's interesting, the constant movement. I mean, Lara Corbett 50 seconds ago was corner forward. He's now out as centre forward. It's very, very difficult for a defence other than going man-to-man. If you don't go man-to-man, it's very nearly impossible to pick it up zonally.
Exactly, and then you get Pat Vaughan, who's is a small cornerback, and you get him in a centre-back position because he's man marking, and it doesn't help.
John Conlon. Long high ball in towards Conor McGrath. Well taken by Paul Curran. And the Tipperary full-back did it extremely well there. Gets it away to Conor O'Mahony. Long ball downfield again taken. Well though by Patrick Donlan. Again though the pass is misplaced. Noel McGrath. Lovely little guided hand pass off to Shane McGrath. And from the 65-metre line, he has a pop, but it tails off to the left and wide. Wide number 10 now for Tipperary. And certainly from Declan Ryan's point of view, there's a lot of things he has to work on in this Tipperary performance as well.
Yeah, and you know, I'm just looking at him there. He's a little bit anxious. Tip have hit about 4 wides in a row there. Now, if Clare could actually get a goal here, it would give him the drive on again for the last 10 minutes and make a real game of it.
Jeremy McMahon, I think, has that in his head. Patrick Donlan, hooked by Noel McGrath, but he gets it at the second attempt. Nice little hand pass into Jonathan Clancy. Clancy is happy to take the point, puts it over. First point of the day for the Clare Castle clubman. Twice a Fitzgibbon Cup medalist with LIT. Puts it over the bar. That keeps Clare in touch.
Yeah, I thought Jonathan Clancy actually carried it a little bit too far, that he gave the defender a chance to block him down. But you know, Clare have it back now. They're back to within 5 points, and after 3 or 4 wides by Tip, if Clare could get another score or two, we'd have a great finish.
Conor McGrath's in a full forward for Clare. Meanwhile, Seamus Callan catches high, sends it this time straight between the posts, and Seamus Callan, he got 5 points against Cork in the quarter-final. He's now got 5 against Clare in the semi.
Yeah, this is one of his best points. Great catch from the puck out, and off his left-hand side from the other side of the field this time. Great point.
And of course, he's a huge man as well, Nicky, isn't he?
Yeah, he's massive. And most of these Tip forwards are very strong.
Meanwhile, Jonathan Clancy, will he be able to get his second point in as many minutes? He does. James Woodlock is warming up for the Tip men as Clancy puts it over the bar. You just get the feeling, Nicky, with 9 minutes left, that this may not be quite the done deal yet.
Yeah, I think so, because you know, Tip have missed the chances, and a feature of Tip games so far in the league that they've been on and off the gas, and you know, playing in snatches, and they're doing that a little bit. They felt as if they had enough done there 5 or 6 minutes ago.
Puck out. Pat Burke tries to get it. Nice little flick away by Keane Dillon. Picked up by Garrod Ryan. Garrod Ryan, huge effort from the sideline. But again, it goes to the right-hand side and wide, and that wide's tally's beginning to mount for the All-Ireland champions. Yeah, that was a shot to noting. Now that ball should have been put in front of Owen Kelly or, you know, Pat Burke, and kept in play, because there was very little chance he was going to score there. And as you can see, Declan isn't looking over happy looking. So James Woodlock comes in, and Garrod Ryan is the midfielder that's been taken off. So James Woodlock, good to see him back from that serious leg break that he had. He's coming in to make his 13th championship appearance this afternoon, and Declan Ryan has not been afraid to make the changes. No, and that's been a feature of Declan's managers since he took over as manager. He hasn't been afraid to make changes very quickly when he deemed necessary. James Woodlock straight away into the action, gets it to Noel McGrath. The ease with which he can get away from his player. But again, the wides mania has really struck Tipperary. They're now on 12, and they're making life a little bit difficult for themselves here. Yeah, of the last 5 or 6 minutes, they've hit everything they've hit has gone wide, other than Callan's point from the left. Shane McGrath. I suppose the important thing, though, from a Tipperary viewpoint, at least, Nicky, they're creating the chances. 5 points in it, 316 to 117. 7 minutes left in this Munster semi-final. Things can happen in 7 minutes, Nicky English. Yeah, certainly. If Clare could get a goal now, would really, you know, they've closed the gap by degrees, but more because Tip have actually missed as much as anything else, and Clare, to really put pressure on Tip, need a goal. Of course, we remember the enthralling game here 2 years ago. There was only 2 points in that at the end. Tipperary winning it. Picked up there by Cormac O'Donovan from the Clonlara club in Clare. Gets it in field, looking for Fergal Lynch. Pádraig Maher, though, sends another long ball down to his forward line. Now breaks down to the path of Patrick Bonner Maher. Gets the pass away to Pa Burke. Pa Burke, rounds one challenge. Pa Burke has the point for the taking in this instance, and Pa Burke puts it over the bar. Second point for Pa Burke, and dare I say it, an important score for Tipperary to make the gap 6 points, Nicky, but just to settle them down after that series of wides.
Yeah, and it was, again, great work by Bonner Maher. He's been a hugely influential player since he came on in the qualifier series last year against Wexford. He does a huge amount of work. You know, he's winning all the dirty ball and, you know, good pass over to Pa Burke, and, you know, Pa Burke, it was a very easy score from there, but the work had been done.
And of course the policy seems to be as well to get the ball to the finishers as quickly as possible in that Tipperary forward line.
Yeah, and the beauty about it is that most of them are able to finish. You have Callan, Noel McGrath, Owen Kelly, Larry Corbett, you know, all John O'Brien, all good finishers.
Puck out, great catch again by Pádraig Maher. What a game this guy has played. Maher comes on, hits it high, and for the second time this afternoon gets a capital score. What a game he's having.
Yeah, just magnificent player, Pádraig Maher. You know, and certainly he's improved from the last day. But he can play full back, centre back, anywhere, and it's just his physique. He's a massive player.
And suddenly the gap is at 7 points again. He will be a little bit happier. 5 minutes left then. Clare will be more than happy, though. I know we're talking 5 minutes out, but they will be more than happy with their performance, you would consider.
Yeah, I think they'd be very happy with their performance. I think, you know, particularly in the first half, I think they certainly have tired a bit in the second half, and, you know, when they tired, they made some mistakes and gave Tipperary chances, and although Tipperary, I suppose, missed the chances and you know, kept Clare in it, but Clare have fought well, and Gerlach can be delighted with it.
James McInerney didn't play in the National League Division 2 final defeat to Limerick. Well caught by Fergal Lynch, who I think he was in two minds almost. He was trying to get the shot in low to try and create a goal chance, but it really didn't work. Patrick O'Connor does well at wing back. Tried to pick out the Clare man, but Pádraig Maher was on the same wavelength. Picked up though by Cathal McInerney. Finding his centre forward, Fergal Lynch. Fergal Lynch has 3 Tipperary men for company, but managed to get away. Gets the hand pass out to Derek Honan. Honan turns. Dangerous ball dropping in around the square. Taken superbly though by Paul Curran. Excellent play by the full-back. Clears it outfield. Jonathan Clancy quite overruns it initially. Derek Honan stepping inside the challenge of Woodlock, who managed to get the hook in though. Honan comes again. Derek Honan surveying the field to see what his options are. Plays it over. Lynch misses it. Picked up though by Cathal McInerney. McInerney onto his right-hand side has the shot. The umpires are happy, and Cathal McInerney gets his second point of the day. But you can even see in that build-up that Tipperary were quite happy to force the Clare men out the field looking for options.
Yeah, at this stage you know that Clare need goals, and you know, Paul Curran had a fantastic catch inside at the edge of the square when the ball went in there. So it's you know, Clare have the save by Brendan Cummins just before half-time was the last meaningful shot they had at goals. And Paul Curran has obviously done some damage.
As Derek Honan has as well. Just, it's interesting, we've been making the point, Nicky, about the wides tally from Tipperary, but incredibly in the game they've hit 316 from play. That's not bad.
No, it's great. It's great stuff. And
here are the goals again.
Yeah, again, you know, Clare will rue some of these goals. They were too easy. That ball, Pat Vaughan had broken that down to Bonner Maher, and you know, the same in the next one. It comes too easy to Larry Corbett before that, where 2 Clare fellas went up for the ball, and you know, those goals have been the difference really.
Goals win games, as they say. Brendan Cummins then with another one of these huge puck outs in the second half. Slight breeze behind him in the second half. Seamus Callan picks it up, has a shot high. Another effort that was not far away, Nicky, because we were pretty much behind that one. There wasn't a lot in it.
No, not a lot in it. It was very close, and you know, at this stage of the game, it doesn't matter really. They can shoot from the sideline all they want, and you know, Seamus Callan has certainly re-established himself in a big way back in the Tipperary senior half forward line. It's just an outstanding against Cork and outstanding again today.
Colin Ryan into the Clare team then. Man of the match time has arrived, Nicky English. We'll get your thoughts.
Well, I think it's, you know, for Clare, Conor McGrath has been absolutely outstanding.
Meanwhile, John Conlon bearing down on goal. We'll follow the action. A host of Tipperary defenders. There was nearly 6 defenders in there. Foul though on Cathal McInerney. Free in. Is this, as they would say, a blasting operation?
Yeah, they certainly have to go for goal here. And, you know, I think going back to man of the match, most days Conor McGrath has done enough to be man of the match. But today I think there's only one player, and it's Pádraig Maher, who's been absolutely outstanding in there. He's there actually fouling just as we give him the award.
I'll call it the commentator's curse, I think. Man of the match then, Pádraig Maher. But he still has a bit of defending to do here. 6 points between them. 69 minutes gone on the clock. The free is going to be taken by James McInerney. So there is obviously only one thing on his mind. Can we have a grandstand finish then in the Gaelic grounds? Noel McGrath coming back to cover one of the Clare players. McInerney picks it, but it went away from him and he puts it over the bar. And McInerney knows, Nicky, that he just didn't get it up. It got away from him.
Yeah, he was too far away and just always getting over. But interestingly, just before that, Noel McGrath came from his own half-forward line back to cover one of the Clare attackers. So just great work ethic from Noel McGrath.
Paul Curran then coming off the Tipperary team, and John Coughlin from Moyne Temple 2, he comes in to make his debut. Young defender that's highly rated. Coughlin, who was full back on the under-21 team last year, missed the All-Ireland final through suspension. So 5 points between the teams as Patrick Bonner Maher, one of those goal scorers for Tipperary, gets it into Larry Corbett, who's all on his own inside. Larry Corbett shot, came off the goalkeeper and the woodwork, and eventually is finished to the back of the net by Seamus Callan. And it was as if, Nicky English, that Clare gave up on their defensive duties. Firstly, Larry Corbett inside the defence, and then when it came off the goalkeeper and the post, Seamus Callan finished.
Philip Brennan did well the first time, but he won't like looking at this one. He's just he'd gone too far across the goals, but he did well to stand up and block from Larry Corbett and the post then, but that was too easy.
Well, another goal then for Tipperary and Seamus Callan. What a day he's had. 1 goal and 5 points. And the point has been made a number of times throughout the day that this Tipperary team score goals, and they're proving it again. Pat Burke. Progress stopped by Patrick O'Connor and Conor Cooney. Owen Kelly goes in, tries to get a touch. Comes out into the hand then of John Conlon. Poor ball though. Straight into the grateful and waiting hand of Shane McGrath, and Shane McGrath makes him pay, puts it over the bar, his 2nd point of the day, and suddenly Tipperary are embellishing their performance.
Yeah, and a few minutes ago though, Shane McGrath had a shot from virtually the same place and it went wide, and I see Clare taking off Diarmuid McMahon, but he's played very well today, particularly in the first half, but as most of the Clare players, he tired in the second half.
Yeah, Cayman Morey is the man that comes in for Clare. But you get the feeling now that it's a little too late for the Clare men. 9 points is the margin. Shane McGrath will be looking forward to a Munster final appearance now against Davy Fitzgerald's Waterford. As that ball goes out over the line, McGrath taking an injury there on the back of the calf. But I think Declan Ryan, he is, I suppose in many ways, it's the perfect performance by Tipperary, Nicky. They showed it at stages what they can do, but they also showed at other stages that there's plenty to work on.
Yeah, Clare had them under a lot of pressure, and the goals came at the right time for Tipperary.
There it is indeed, just to go across. Yes, the final whistle from the referee. It's all over here then in the Munster semi-final in the Gaelic grounds, and it's Tipperary who advance to next month's Munster final, where they will meet Waterford on July the 10th. For Clare, it's the qualifier route, where they will take on either Wexford or Galway. Declan Ryan will be the happier of the two managers.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, at the same time, Davy Fitz and Waterford, they won't be. They'll see a lot to work on for the Munster final as well. So good Munster final in prospect.
So then it's all over, and the Premier County are into the Munster final. Final score then in Limerick: Tipperary 4-19, Clare a goal and 19.
Thank you very much, Sean and Nicky. Jamesy, you described this has been a medium-term project for Clare before the game. How do you think you stand after this result?
I think you have to try and take the positives out of it, Matt. I mean, I think Conor McGrath announced his arrival onto the inter-county stage. I thought he was excellent. I think 1-6. Cathal McInerney did well. Patrick O'Connor, the third debutant as well, you know, I thought gave a good account for himself. So, I mean, there's no quick fix, Matt. There's no magic wand that Gerard Loughlin can wave. This is, as I said, a medium-term project. We just have to make sure now that we build on this in the qualifiers and you know, have something good to look at going forward.
Ollie, do you think will there be a lot of the what-ifs? What if they had defended a bit better, not given away soft goals? Will there be a certain element of thinking, well, we maybe should have done better?
Yeah, I mean, in the first half, they played, you know, particularly well in the first half against Tipperary, but a few lapses in the back line, give away a few goals like that, just maybe